This is Tom Osborne from TastyLandscape.com, and today's virtual tasting is one of my all-time favorites, the dragon fruit. Now, this is a really interesting fruit in a lot of ways. I mean, obviously, to look at it is interesting. You got these dramatic wings that are sort of light green that come off of the fruit against this background, this sort of dark, ruby red, almost maroon background of the rest of the fruit. Well, by the way, to look at this, you might think that's a little intimidating, maybe these are sharp, but in fact, this is quite soft. The wings here are actually almost rubbery. So there's nothing about this fruit that's actually going to hurt you, but it is pretty darn cool, almost alien-like. Another thing that is pretty interesting about this fruit is it grows from a cactus. And that cactus is actually a vine that grows up jungle trees in its native environment. So even though I don't have any jungle trees in my yard and I don't live in a jungle, you can grow this in places like where I live in Southern California. In fact, I just picked this earlier today. And when you do pick it, the best way I think to pick this is to give it a couple turns until it pops off. So once you got that, you can really feel the weight of this fruit. Now, as a side note, usually the fruit is a little bit bigger than you see here. I mean, it's a big fruit to begin with, but usually it's a little bit bigger. But currently in California, we have this big drought and we got water restrictions. So the overall size for this guy at this moment is a little diminished. Last year they were bigger. So although this fruit has huge nocturnal flowers that smell wonderfully tropical, the outside of the fruit, it doesn't have much of a noticeable aroma. I'm gonna smell this again to remind myself. It's very faint. It's almost like if you were on the sweet kind of subtle aroma that you'd have from damp, wet fall leaves in a pile. All right, so let's cut this open. Let's see what it looks like. Like I said, the outside is quite soft, almost a little bit leathery. Feels firm. And let's just cut this open here. It cuts very easily. This is beautiful. Look at that color. Now there's no photo augmentation here. Now I have quite a few varieties of these, and they come in multiple different colors. They can be anywhere from deep purple, even more purple than this, to red, to pink and white, and even there's even yellow varieties. So let's give another little cut here. Now you don't eat the skin, but the flesh you can eat. And in fact, like many fruits, it does taste quite good when chilled. But you can just eat it out of hand too. I mean, I eat it all the time right off the vine. Most of it peels off of the skin quite well. Sometimes you get a little bit of flesh left on there. It peels off quite nice. I'm just going to take a little piece off here. Give myself a flavor. So you can see there's all these dark seeds on here. I'm eating it right now. It's really good. Wow, so good. This is really a wonderful fruit. I'm going to eat all this, but I'm going to hold myself back for a minute just to tell you more about it. So the seeds sort of have like a crunch to them, almost like a kiwi, but even less crunchier than a kiwi. I mean, sort of like that, but not so much. The flesh is melting. Sweet and juicy. Now, some people have said that this is a really bland fruit. I don't think so. I mean, it's not a strong flavor, but it's not bland. I have noticed, however, I'm sorry I'm eating, I can't help it, that if this is picked too early, that the flavor is not as great as it could be. In fact, these don't ship great, especially when they're super ripe. So oftentimes they're picked in like Mexico where they grow quite well, or Southeast Asia, and they're shipped elsewhere. And they have to pick them so early that it doesn't have a chance to ripen on the vine as well. And so the fruit that you get at a store is not going to be as good. But if you grow it from home, then they taste really good. And they do have a flavor. The flavor is fruity, it's mild. It's quite refreshing. It's really super juicy. Like I said, it's melting. What else can I tell you? It's not sour by any means. It sort of has a little bit of a tang to it. It's very subtle. I've never ever had a sour one. They just taste wonderful. Have another one here to see if I can think of anything else to tell you. One of the best fruits I've ever had. So, anyways, to find out more about how to grow this particular plant and lots of other cool tropical plants, check out my website, tastylandscape.com.